So my name is Mike Fullarton, and I'm an artist from Dundee in Scotland. I've been living in Kraków for many years now. I paint mostly abstract paintings, very colourful, very vibrant, a few different styles, which has developed over the last few years. I went to art school in Dundee. They have a good art school there. So I graduated from there and painted in a studio there for 3 years, I think it was. And it was going quite well, but I always wanted to travel. So after a bit of thinking, I decided to take a break and travel. The easiest way to do that for me was to teach English, so teach English and travel. And I only planned to do it for maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 years maximum. But once I started, I really enjoyed it, really liked it. I started in Portugal, Spain, and then Poland. And again, when I came to Poland, I only planned to stay a year. But then, of course, I met someone, and a year turned into many, many years. In that time, I didn't paint, and I was quite comfortable with that. I didn't miss it, because up until I left Dundee, I'd done a lot of painting, so I was quite happy to take a break. But then I think it was in 2017, we were renovating our flat. My wife wanted some artwork on the wall, and she wanted to go to IKEA for a painting. And I thought, well, we don't have to do that. Maybe I could do something. So it was a good reason to pick up the brushes again. And I started doing work which I had kind of not finished back in Scotland. I was continuing a theme then, which was connected with pixels, fragments, fragmentation, fractals, small details, infinite small details. And I started with that and continued with that for a period of time. And then that moved fairly naturally into a series of map paintings. The pixel paintings generally did look like maps. So it was quite a natural progression to move in that direction. I'd always been interested in maps anyway. And that became a combination of these geometric fragmented patterns developing into really quite intricate maps, very vibrant. And then from there, or almost at the same time, I was also working on portraits, a series of abstract portraits. I think the common thread is fragmentation, particularly with the original pixel paintings and the portraits. I like the concept of deconstructing and then rebuilding. These are mostly, I think these are all actually self-portraits. The main reason for that is I'm always available. I don't need to look for a model. Most of the time it starts with a very rough sketch of the head, the face, and then working into that with lots of splashes of colour, pouring paint, moving it around, a lot of random lines, but trying at the same time to control where the lines go, combination, and then gradually working back into it with a brush, building up layers, repeating the process. And so a lot of these are very layered, you know. The maps, the original pixel paintings, the portraits, very, very layered. And again, that ties into the process of deconstructing and then rebuilding. I have always liked graffiti work. I don't know that much about it. I've never tried it, but I do like the freedom and these very expressive, immediate lines that you make with the spray. You have to get it right first time, but at the same time, even if it isn't quite right, you can work back into it, and that's part of the process. So it's not overdone. I don't feel good enough with them to overdo it, and I want to still sort of combine it with painting with the brush. You know? I find a lot of reference nowadays online without having to look in books or stuff, which I may be used to, you know. So I like a lot of the immediate imagery from online, you know. I mean, traditionally, the artist would often go through galleries to get exposure, which is not easy. It's not easy to do, and I think, you know, the pros and cons of social media, but certainly one of the pros is that it has allowed people to get their artwork out there immediately to possibly a large number of people. If you're quite good about how you do it, if you have some kind of idea, then I think it could be very effective. But you also have to be ready to face immediate negativity. Like if someone, you know, people can comment very quickly regarding how they feel. But I think it's mostly positive, you know. And for me personally, I mean, I should probably explore it more than I do. But I find it quite tiring. I'm happiest when I'm working on a painting rather than spending time going through social media. The exhibition in December there, November, December, that was my 4th exhibition here. So I've been lucky enough to have the opportunity to do that. And the feedback's been very, very good. The interest, the support. In terms of Kraków as a sort of a hub for artists, I'm not really too sure about it. It's not something, I'm not really part of the scene here, if there is a scene. It may be quite an insular one as well. But I've tried to look further ahead than just Kraków, to be more open-minded, particularly now, again, coming back to social media and the digital world. I think it would be strange just to focus on the city where you're producing the work. I think you've got the whole world as your audience, possibly. So I think it's best to focus and be more open-minded rather than just the city where you're working in. As long as I have ideas about how to develop the work, then I'm happy. I think the worst thing would be if I didn't have an idea. Sitting in front of a blank canvas is very intimidating, you know. So as long as I have ideas about what to paint, I'm very happy. Social media, yeah, I should probably do more with that. But recently I've been busy with quite a few commissions. People have commissioned quite a number of portraits. They seem to have found the style quite unique, and that's great for me because I really enjoy doing them. I would like to develop more the memory paintings as well as the portraits. I find those interesting.